Welcome to What Ha Happened, the podcast where we talk about our latest chismes,
or gossip with you non-Spanish speaking folks.
crazy travel stories, hood memoirs, and food and wine.
This is an adult podcast.
So some of our topics may make our listeners a wee bit uncomfortable.
Listener discretion is advised.
And if you're of legal drinking age,
Grab a glass of wine.
or a beverage of your choice, and enjoy the show. Ready
Right.
when you are, Rich.
I'm ready when you are. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to What Ha Happened.
This is Lala.
This is Richmo. We have a very special guest. Lala, would you do the honors?
This is my very special Samba mama who taught me the ways of the Samba world. So this is my Samba mama. Can you introduce yourself, Samba mama?
Yes, I'm Valeria Riobela, and I'm very, very happy to be here. Thank you both for having me as a guest. I'm very,
You're
very
very
excited.
welcome.
We gave her a mic, people. Beware.
Yes, they give me the mic.
That's awesome. So,
Today, we want to talk about. So, in our last episode, we kind of did a recap on me going to Brazil and what my experience was, and the reason and the way that I was able to get there and have this experience was because of this beautiful, wonderful woman, Valeria, and. So I wanted to bring her on just because she facilitated, like I mentioned on our last episode, that she was able to coordinate everything so that, we actually just got to live our dream instead of having to worry about logistics and stuff. So she was the mastermind behind all of it, who was able to fulfill these dreams for all these girls that went. She brought down this group. And so I wanted to bring her on so that you guys can get this information from her. And she has, of course, a lot to say about what she does and why she does it. And, I just wanted you guys to get it just from her, the info from her. So please,
Thank
Valeria,
you for having me.
thank you for coming and joining us. She's joining us from Florida. So we're in LA. And so I just wanted to just ask you, first and foremost, let's just start with, how is it that you got together that group for us to go to Brazil? Like, what made you start doing that, or what caused that little, oh, you know what, I want to go to Brazil and take a bunch of people to fulfill their dreams?
Yes, that's a hot question.
that's a loaded question
That's
for
a
sure.
very loaded question, yes.
Sorry.
But overall, summarizing it, it's, by the way, I don't know if a lot of you know that, from the group, but that was my very first time parading as well
What?
in the Samba Dome. Yes.
No.
Yes, that was my very first time
Oh my
parading.
gosh,
Wow.
she looked like such a natural girl. I saw you out there. You were just like
The
she's just
actual parading,
jumping.
yes,
Oh
yeah.
my God,
Yeah.
you kidding me? I didn't know that. Okay.
So I think it was a very special trip for all of us. Each one of us connected at a different level, of course. Each one of us with different needs. But at the end of the day, we each found something. It's like a little piece that was missing, in that Samba Dome, that parade. And for myself, I definitely found the Valeria that left in 1987 from Brazil. And I rescued. It was a rescue mission, I think, for a lot of us. Empowered women coming together, finding that little piece that was missing somewhere, somehow. And, down that Samba Dome, the parade somewhere, and it was perfect because Lala actually did a video with Melissa, and there's this video of me parading down the Samba Dome, and they're like, Valeria!
Oh my God, yes. We'll have to insert that
and
little.
that was
We'll
the
share
moment.
that clip with everyone.
Yes, and we were just yelling, and
And I was
she was
dancing.
just jumping around. It was like a natural, it really becomes you. You are.
And I
meant for
felt
that.
like it was just another day, just another parade. It felt so comfortable, and it was meant to be. And I had this dream to really bring a group of friends and or class goers, to really experience Brazil and the Carnival parade in a safe, fun, comfortable, confident level. And we put this VIP pack. It was an idea I had, many years ago that just kind of like came together this year because at the same time I'm going through these changes as well in feeling complete and fulfilled in my life. There's something to be said about turning 50, even though I'm 54, took a few years later, but hey, by 54, I got it done. But I don't know how to explain it. It's an energy, it's a feeling, and it was the right moment, to be there and to bring friends to have that experience that I knew also wanted to have that experience from Brazil. And a lot of people are a little scared, of the violence and the crime and, going to a new country, going to South America. And, each one of us had different needs to go to Brazil, but at the same time, it was, I don't know, it all came together. Right. And
Yeah.
so I had this idea of putting some friends together as a test before we turned into a business. I wanted to come with friends and family to have this experience, my first experience as well,
Oh
in,
my
in
God.
parading. And I wanted it to be fun, to be safe, to be luxurious, to be, all it can be. So that's why I call it the VIP package. I mean, we were parading at the best places. We were going to the best parties. We had the drivers, we had the VIP boxes, we had the technical rehearsals, we had the costumes, and we had the dresses for the special occasions. I mean, we went to the special feijoada, which is the what do you call the black beans, right? The
It's like I called it like like a
Feijoada. So is this the translation? Is that the literal
yeah,
translation?
it's a party. It's a special party to introduce, to talk, to get it started. Let's get started. Let's get, we're doing a feijoada to come together and get ready for this
The
big
pre-party.
It's a
Well,
pre-party.
it's kind of like a get together party, and it's like a very common food, but it's kind of like a very homey food. So it's kind of like I was talking in the last episode. It's like bean soup and beef stew, married, and then they sprinkled some farofa on it, which But it's just like, I mean, that's how I would explain it to people who don't know.
For those of you who are from Jalisco, it's like carne en su jugo, when they have the meat and then they have the beans together.
Yes,
But they don't have
carne
that
en su jugo.
farofa, right? The cheese
Yeah,
stuff
no,
like
no,
that.
no. The farofa, so it's kind
That's
of like
yuca
a
flour.
but it's
yuca
salty.
flour.
It's salty, and it's there's more on like crumbs, like.
So the yuca flour is crumbled up like Parmesan cheese, only it's yuca flour on your beans and meat
And the rice and the
combination.
meat. Yeah, it's a great combination.
We're gonna insert a little dish of what they had.
And by the way, I
the
make
preamble
a meat
party.
feijoada.
Yeah, she does. I've
Florida.
eaten her feijoada.
And it's really a celebration. It is, like you said, a pre-party. You buy a ticket, and then people actually dress up. You wear the T-shirt. You buy it in a extra large size, and you make a little dress out of that T-shirt for the Samba school. You literally wear the shirt.
Even guys?
Well, no. I mean, maybe if it's in our group, we were only girls. But yes, anybody can make a dress out of that T-shirt, and it's a cute little dress, and where you cut and you decorate the T-shirt.
Basically, and it's kind of like everybody
Like an abada.
it's kind of like everybody does their own thing too, like their own, like everybody does different cuts. They'll sew like little things on there.
I see.
You can cut it sideways, tie it here, tie
Yeah.
it there, but you make it your own. So
It's everybody's own individual expression.
yes,
Right.
of the
With the
same
same T-shirt.
Exactly.
Nice.
Or you
Sounds
can
like a lot
just
of
wear
fun.
the T-shirt,
You go to the feijoada and you see everybody like, oh shit, I would have never thought about that. They added this, they sewed this on, they cut here, they did that. So it's kind of
very creative.
extremely creative.
And they invite Samba schools, which is the Samba community, Samba groups to come and do a show performance. And you have the live drumming and the dancers and so yes, a pre-party, and then they have the technical rehearsals at the Samba drum. I mean, we experienced it all, from the feijoadas parties to the technical rehearsals to opening of Carnival, pretty much, which is the when they do the washing of the street. With it's a special occasion where
They actually they come and
well, no, it's not
wash
like
or
a
like
big
mop the
water, but
street or what?
it's like blessing the road.
Ah,
You
nice.
know,
Spiritual
That's a
washing.
spiritual
spiritual
washing.
washing.
I was like, what do you mean? Isn't a big
Yeah.
two big trucks come and just wash? Everybody's mopping.
comes, mops
And
the
they
floor.
actually call it lavagem de rua. It's like, it's like really
so it's
blessing. And, for a lot of people, that's the day that you really, now you've blessed this place. We're ready. Let's get started. And the parade that, with the Valeria and all of that, and when I found Valeria in there, lost somewhere since 1987, it was at this special evening of blessing, the Samba drum. And it was just very special. It was a very, very blessing, blessful, wonderful connection that we all had. From there on, it was just party time. And of course, many sleepless nights.
Sure, I would imagine so.
And, with that comes, there's some consequences. We got tired, we got grumpy, we got,
sure.
some of us got a little, flu, a little stomach situation, stomach problems
They ate the
happening
wrong
there.
thing for
We
the
ate
wrong
thing,
rink-
didn't get
ate the wrong
enough rest.
seafood.
So you can imagine a lot of women together. So, but, through all of that, we came through and we came together. We knew we were there for something a lot bigger than, okay, let's forget this little drama here.
Right.
And
We're here to
keep
dance.
going
Well,
and dance and enjoy.
I had mentioned in our last episode that, it was a lot of women. And so we did have, like in any household, when you bring in so many people together and you have a difference of like backgrounds and personalities and stuff, but overall, I felt that it was so cohesive and so, I don't know, I felt like it was like a sisterhood.
Right.
It ended up being such
That's
a
exactly what it was.
I mean, the
Yeah.
experience had to be amazing. I mean, Lala was talking about like this is something she's always dreamt of. When she was a kid watching the old Mexican movies, and then it's a style of music, and where is that music? Where does it originate from?
Yeah.
And you take it way back. So, I mean, after being gone so long, I mean, how was was it like for you like leaving Brazil? I mean, you left Brazil and you came to the United States.
Yeah.
And then so you left your culture, your country, and then coming back, and then actually going back to dance in the Carnaval after all this time. Like, I mean, I think it was a shock to Lala. She was like, "This is your first time too?" So she probably thought that, she probably thought that you do this every year.
Well, the thing is that you can go every year, and I would go, since 1987 for several years and sit at the VIP box. I went like even 3 years before to put this event together for us. And I went to many different boxes, the VIP boxes, and said, okay, this is a good one. That's not a good one. This is, I went through a pre-selection.
So you had a long time
I
planning.
prepared for this, for them to have the very best experience. We had the best VIP box. We had the best team to drive us. We had the best security. I had a car with the driver 24/7. I picked them up at the airport. I dropped them off at the airport. I want that, I treated them as if they were my 26-year-old daughter. How would I want my daughter to experience Brazil? And
Right.
what would I do for her? And that's what I extended to them, being my friends, and some of them I know, like Lala, for many, many years. So that's what they had, that kind of, and even at the end, when you plan this, you really don't know how it's going to go, every single day. But at the very end, we all understood that we were really paying for security because something's always going to go wrong, So when you have that kind of team with you, it's going to get fixed.
Right. Right.
Whatever comes, whatever happens, if it's costume, if it's somebody getting lost. We had somebody who went to the wrong airport at a different state.
How do you go to the wrong
We had
airport?
somebody, instead of coming from Rio, they went to São Paulo. That kind of miscommunication can
Oh my
happen.
god.
Like-
Maybe they went with my luggage.
Yeah, her luggage got
Oh my-
someplace else, and we had another lady who joined the trip in 3 days. Somebody dropped out, and really didn't want to do it. Was feeling some anxiety about the whole thing, and we had like a waiting list of people to join us because I could only take a certain amount of people with us. So she joined, and we got new costumes. We got, we had the kind of situation where you're having this cup, because I actually went to the Samba community to pick up my cup because I paraded the second day. They didn't. We did the group.
You're
but
like, I'm gonna get this out.
I
I'm
paraded
gonna
the
get my
second day. I
parading
paraded 2
out.
days.
I'm gonna go to day
And
number 2.
I actually had to go to the community to pick up my costume. I mean, they didn't have to go through that. And it's
Yeah,
long.
we got ours delivered to our hotel room.
I mean, this is like here's your costume in your hotel. The seamstress will come to the hotel. The costume is never what the picture looks like, or what the picture is. So the
Well, they
seamstress
do-
comes over
they
and
do a
does all the.
sketch, so they can do tweaks and stuff. So the end product doesn't end up looking with the sketch, because they do they draw it out,
Right.
and so
So all the problems were resolved, at on the spot right there at the hotel with a team that can sew, they can decorate.
Wow.
They can drive. They can take you.
I mean,
to
I'm
a-
just imagining chaos because, everybody's built different, and you got all these costumes, and then all of a sudden you're just like, hey, this doesn't fit that. So you got okay,
Yeah. We had someone that paraded another day because she wanted to parade with her husband in her costume. I mean, someone from our team. I mean, it was stressful, but at the end of the day, someone from our team was able to be there and pick up that costume literally at 7 p.m. at night, and she was parading that night.
wow.
I mean, not everybody can go into a community and be able to have that kind of contact and come in and say, okay, I'm going to
support.
stay
Wow.
here until this costume is ready for me to pick it up. So there's lots of stories where you don't get your costume, or you don't, get what you expected, even though there's a lot of drama, which is bound to happen. It happened in
Well, I
with
wouldn't want to
every group.
imagine you traveling all the way to Brazil, meaning to be in Carnival, not just attend, but be in the parade. Folks, we're talking about being in the parade, not just watching, but
being in
participating.
it, being a part of
Can
it.
you imagine flying to Brazil and then your costume isn't ready on the
Oh,
day
yeah,
you're
it
supposed to parade?
happens every year, all the time.
Oh my stars!
So
that
it
would
is literally
be so
about who you
hurtful.
know.
Yeah.
To really take care of that. And, it doesn't happen to everyone, of course. I mean, it's like, but these situations that happens, and it's about who you know and how far you can get into one of these communities to really get it done.
Garner that support and
In time, of course, because the team had to take care of her and her
Right.
husband. Here I was exactly at the place where I didn't want them to have that experience because of safety and whatnot. So I was very scared for my life. But I got to tell you that even that experience for me, because the team had to take care of them, I was literally forgotten. So I was dropped off in a
Lone
corner.
wolf.
Can we
on
talk
the-
about that for a second?
Well, I was dropped off at a sidewalk, in the outside of the gates, right, or where we
So
were.
is there a safe area of the area where everybody's partying, and then so the costume area is outside, like the seamstresses or
Well, I guess it's just like any other parade anywhere else. What happens is there's the whole outdoors of the Samba drum, right? All of these different communities are coming, and they're eating outside. They're eating hot dogs. They're drinking their beers. They're hanging out. They're bumping on each other, right? Because it's so packed. And so we had the kind of cars that had that all access pass, right? So that car is taking you through the gates, right inside the Samba drum. And then from inside the Samba drum, you go into a camarim, to a green room, right, with air conditioning and drinks.
super
and-
deluxe package.
right. The makeup
so
artist over
Yes.
there. And everybody else is in that, 100 and whatever heat. And but we're in that green room, you know, and then from the green room, you go straight to where you're going to parade. And so you're having that, you know, that handed, like, you know, people are holding your hand. You're having the very best experience. You have like even the little robe over your costume, so you're not half naked over there with your costume, you know, showing you're being treated like a muse, like a queen. You know, that's the Samba queen treatment that these girls had.
You guys had the Samba queen
Yes.
treatment. Not the princess, not from part of the court, but the queen treatment.
So, you know, of course they paid for it, right? But, you know, it was delivered. And so there's that comfort, safety, because a lot of people want the comforts. But the other side of that is being outside of that gates. You don't have the green room. You're in 100 heat, whatever, you know, that maybe you're bumping into each other. You
Hundreds
carry
of people.
that costume. You don't have people to carry the costume for you. So I was on the streets with that box over my shoulder, not the box, the
Bag.
plastic bag with my costume, the rest of the costume, right?
Yeah.
Over my shoulder, high heels, and then there's an overpass, you know, from where I got dropped off to where I had to go for the to enter the gates to go to the parade. And I'm going, do I have to go? What? And of course, half naked.
Yeah, she's
'Cause
wearing,
you have a
she's
little
wearing
top
little
and-
pasties.
I'm the little mermaid.
Yeah. For the second day she paraded, she had the cutest costume, but like when we saw her and she's got little pasties on, and then she's, you know, got like this little cute mermaid outfit.
And it was
But-
so tight. It was like a funnel
Yeah.
outfit, right? So I'm walking like this. And going over the overpass. But then the most incredible thing happened, you know, because that community, they really come together. And, you know, here they are. Make some room for our mermaid to pass by.
Oh,
You know,
City.
somebody please help her with the bag.
Oh,
You know,
no.
and I'm going over that and I'm afraid of heights. And I'm going over that overpass, and people are helping. People are holding my bag. People are like making the space, and you know, saying how beautiful you look. Come on, you can make it. Let's go. You can cross it. You know? So it's like that. It was the most beautiful moment. From one of the most beautiful moments I had in the whole trip of that community, that, you know, most people be like, oh, you're a lot of people, you're afraid you're going to be robbed or you're going to be whatever. It's like none of that happened. It was such a togetherness, a community, so much love, and people coming together to help you, you know, to make that carnival happen.
Makes me
And
wanna
I'm so
cry.
glad I was dropped off of that sidewalk. I mean, I was sweating.
That's the support from
Yeah,
all
you're
the
sweating.
All
community.
the glitter came
Oh, yeah.
off, you know, my little patchy things, whatever they had all glittered up. They were so cute by the end. I was sweating so much. I was, it just looked beige. But, you know, we didn't care. And then I got onto that float, and I was there because, of course, again, you don't have the green room to go just when you're ready for the parade, right? So I did the non-package deal.
So second day for you was a non-package deal.
Right. I was there on, you know, I had to be there 2 hours before. I stayed on that float for 2 hours, and you can't go pee.
Oh yeah, Lala was
Don't drink
telling
a
us
lot of water.
about. Yeah, Lala was telling us what you have to do to.
And I, you know, it was a hustle. It was,
Yeah.
but I was so happy. And I actually and I was, you know, happy because I had my phone with me, right? So I had my phone in the back here, and I put, and I learned a new trick. The headpieces.
Yes.
Because you have that big bag with the cost. So you put the back piece on, you put the big feathers on. Now you have that big bag, that big empty bag. And you have to roll it up, and you put it inside your headpiece, and you put it on your head. You save
wow.
the bag
Wow.
for when you're done with the parade,
Yeah.
to put your things in there.
How many hours were you in a parade the second time?
Oh my goodness, from the time I was dropped off, I mean, literally, here. Go. Kick to the curb.
They kick you out the car like with the best squad.
And then we stayed on that float for a good 2.5 to 3 hours waiting before the parade.
And then how long was
And
the
then
parade
it's
run?
a 90-minute parade.
Oh my stars!
and
That's
when
like
you're-
4.5, almost 5 hours on the parade in your costume, you can't go to the bathroom.
No.
It took you all this time to get on there and to wait to get on the parade route. But tell me, how excited were you when you were actually going those 90 minutes?
Oh, we forget all about it.
That's right.
And I actually we were in the hotel room, and because they have a channel where they specifically air just the parade, and so we were like yelling, we were like, yes, there's Valeria, and we're like, ah, and we're taking videos and pictures and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah,
we saw
it's
her.
like you forget all about it, and
You- you-
you live that energy, and you live that energy. It's incredible.
By the way how she was performing, and I saw it on TV, you could not tell that all happened.
Nobody knows.
Nobody
knows.
You're only seeing the
Showtime.
Showtime moments.
You see the Showtime moment, even though I had no more glitter left in my body from all the sweat, it still looked decent.
No, it looked
And a lot of people forget the fact that that's a competition.
Mm-hmm.
When
Right.
you're going
I was
down those
talking about
90
that.
minutes,
actually
it's a
most
competition.
people don't know.
So you're supposed to act a certain way. You're supposed to sing all the time. You're supposed to, your energy has to be at 1,000,
Of course.
And you can't act tired but it's not even forced. You just do it because it's so
I
exciting.
mean, you're probably taking the energy from the crowd and the
Right.
people, and you're.
And you actually, there's so many people that Samba drum during Carnival, but you actually connect individually with people. Throughout the parade, you actually make eye contact with people in the crowd and dancing, dance with you. They point at you, they start videotaping, they say hi, and it's just
It is
incredible.
very personal. I had mentioned that in the last recording, was that you see people and then they look at you and then you send them beiges, then you point at them and then you're like, ah, and it's just it is a very, even though there's like thousands, I don't know how many thousands of people fit in there, but
So anyway, so yes, I can sit here and actually say that I've experienced both sides of the Carnival parade.
Right.
I've
Queen
experienced
package.
the Queen package, and I've experienced the community package, because the community, that's what they do. And they know each other, and I felt part of the community, even though I had never done it before. I've been to the VIP box and watched the Carnival. It's different than parading. It's a whole different experience. And, but if I had to pick, let me stay with my Queen package.
Let me stay with my
In my
Queen
green
package.
box, my cold water,
Air
little something
conditioning.
to eat, air conditioning, my costume intact.
okay.
Because there's something to be said about that relaxation and that comfort. I'm not gonna lie. That's it was a great experience. You went from being very scared and being something new and unknown. Everybody's scared of the unknown, realizing that there is nothing to be scared about.
No,
Nothing
not
to
when
be
there was
scared.
that
That's my
much
people,
love.
But it was comfortable to be in the green box, right? The green room. Have air conditioning, have a drink, and go when it's time instead of standing there for 2 or 3 hours. They have a bathroom for you.
Yeah,
In
bathroom is
the green
important.
room, right? Be able to eat and relax, get ready. When it's showtime, you go. So there's something to be said about that. But if you want to experience the hustle, we got that too.
Right.
It's available.
It's available.
So, just another, I kind of want to zoom out a little bit because we kind of zoomed in a lot into like this particular experience, but I kind of want to zoom out to like what made you start to want to teach samba, so now now that we zoomed in onto this particular
Aside from Carnival.
yeah, but just well, because I'm just saying, because you were my first instructor, and so I you were the one that kind of propelled me into this samba world, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is so amazing and this is so much fun and I love this so much, but is there a reason that you what started you to want to teach, or to start doing
That's a
this?
great question. Thank you for saying that.
I love you.
I love you more. Samba. So I came here in 1987 As I mentioned, I was only 17, and then you get really into that American culture. I had, fortunately, my aunt who brought me here and had a plan for me. I was a living nanny for a year and learned a lot of English, and then went into studying pretty much, dedicating myself to learning English, studying, universities, all of that. So fast forward to 1997 when my daughter was born, and then you feel the need of, you've lived now since you're, from 17 to 28, right? Such an American life, going after that American dream, learning English, studying career and whatnot. And really, especially because I lived in Kentucky.
Kentucky. Whoa.
So I moved from New York to Kentucky, borderline with Cincinnati, but between Covington, Kentucky, and Cincinnati, it's really an all-American life, you know, as American as it gets. And then in 1993, I moved to California. In 1997, I had my daughter. And when you have kids, and I'm sure, a lot of you can connect, you want to make sure your kids know where you came from. And I had the opportunity to meet Doris the Hillster and David the Hillster with Samba La Samba School in Long Beach. I was in Long Beach at that time. Iran Jalima, a very good friend of mine, took me to a carnival that they were doing in Long Beach. It's called the Long Beach Street Carnival. It was very big, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what is this? It's like this is great," And then Iran just said, "Okay, there's a." Kind of like a bodysuit, you should wear one of these and parade with us. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I came here to see the carnival. It's like,
Participate in it?
we need, the girl didn't show up. We need a girl between the two of us. It was like Iran and Iraguazu, parading at the street parade. They used to shut down Pine Avenue,
Oh, okay.
the whole downtown area
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
and do
yeah.
the carnival, right? And I'm like, I gotta wear this. It's like I had to roll up the thing. The thing was like 3 times bigger than I was like 124 pounds back then. So I'm rolling up, I'm putting the feathers on, and I paraded. I'm like, my goodness, this is great. My daughter got it. I reconnected immediately with that carnival, and then the culture said, I need to show this to my daughter. So I started going. And the following year, I even participated, and I was like the princess of the drums. And, there was 3 people competing, so I got 3rd place.
A lot of competition there.
So I was 2nd princess of the drums. But from that point on, I wanted to show my daughter where her mom was from. But the thing is, I didn't know how to dance samba.
You didn't know?
So, no. And that is, and I like to say this to everyone because it's a very important piece of the whole thing, how it gets started. So because they used to make fun of me, the teacher, even said, oh gosh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to teach this one how to dance samba. So I, just like swimming, like I was talking to you a little bit before, to be able to be part of that swimming team, the medley, I had to practice twice a day. And that's what I did with samba. I practiced twice a day. I went to every class every week. And I went from dancing samba with 1 foot going backwards to being the samba instructor. Because I was determined to learn samba and to show the culture to my daughter, because samba is for everyone. Samba is for everyone. It's a people's right. It's a people dance. It's a street dance, and people can try to commercialize samba all they want, but I'm here to tell you it's a people dance. It's for the people. Okay,
It's for everyone.
There's a history which we can get into that later on, but aside from that, it's what brought me back to my culture. I went aside and became very Americanized and living the American dream, right? But I'm from Brazil. I'm from São Gonçalo, Brazil. It's a little area there in Rio de Janeiro, so it's, that's where Porto da Pedra is. You were there. And I reconnected. I remember where I never forgotten, but I had to show my daughter where I came from. And I learned the samba, and through samba and the Brazilian carnival, she was the princess of the drums, the junior princess. She had a little costume. And then from there, I kept going, I kept learning. And there was an opportunity to actually, because I got really good at the dance. Actually, there's a little funny story, if I may say. So, 'cause
Yeah,
the
of
girls
course.
were so, the Brazilian body, right? They got the bundas, and they got the hips, and they got that little curvy,
The curvature, the right curvature.
And we had Samba had a show with Kia Motors. That's when the Rio car came out. So we went to Korea for the launching of the Rio car. And Asians, I guess, got excited about the way I look because I was this skinny. I was so skinny, so you didn't know if I was coming or going. Like considered to be kind of flat for a Brazilian woman. But I was a success in Asia. So my pictures
Oh
were
my
in
God.
Asia. I was like very.
You're like, I got it going on in
I'm like, you
Asia.
got a Brazilian who looks like this little Asian body.
Brazilian Asian body.
Brazilian Asian body.
I was
Oh, yeah.
actually the most popular dancer. I mean, I was in the front of the newspapers. I mean, the interviews, the whole thing, because I was the flat, skinny Brazilian dancer.
Oh
That's
my
it for the
God.
Rio, for the announcement of the car
Go figure,
Rio,
there was
huh?
no butt, there was no leg, there's no
Oh my goodness.
going on there that much. But anyway, so I had a little crush course with Doris on getting that Samba step. So from that moment on, I really focused, and pretty much a year later, I was teaching Samba. But because I had to create this technique to learn and to make it easy and to be a step by step for you to learn how to do it, and you're talking that coordination of the step with your core, right? And I came up with the TNA. A lot of people don't know it's tits and ass.
Is this when everybody looks like they're floating and their head just stays in one position, but their body's moving?
Right.
Well,
so
but what she means by TNA is like you have to tits and ass. So you put your boobs out and you stick out your butt, but you hold your core and your shoulders are like, it's just a particular posture that if you do this, then it kind of creates automatically that posture for dancing.
Right. And it really comes from that belly button. And no matter how many other, because there's a lot, I'm not trying to say that I want one of those expert instructors in Brazil that have been, they were born in the community. So you can't, nowhere,
Yeah.
really not trying to compare myself to them. But at the end of the day, the basic Samba step is the basic Samba step. And I've always gotten people to do that base. And if they want to advance and go into, there's a lot of different instructors and Samba groups you can be part of. I've actually referred you, to another one if you really want to, because we don't have a group. What I do is motivate, give that understanding that yes, if I can do it, if I could do it, dancing with one foot backwards, you can do it if you really want to. And it's for everyone. And it's that broke down technique really gets you to a certain level. But at the end of the day, it's your state of mind. And understanding that you can do it. You're for 1 hour with me during that Samba class. And of course, I have mostly women, but I have some men also in my class. But you are the sexiest person in that Samba class. And you're just a Samba queen. Or king.
And this is what really kind of like lit something for me because I've always danced folklorico, Mexican folklorico since I was a little girl. So that has been my dance, But like Rich was saying, I grew up with the Mexican film, like the old 1940s with the rumberas, which is more like Caribbean, whatever, but still they had like all these feathers and I was just like, oh my God, one day I want to do that. And then, I met Valeria and she just made it super simple, like, oh yeah, and it was so much fun, like just like, oh yeah, no dude, and no, like you're the most. And then it's just like what I really appreciated about your classes was the self-confidence that you really instill in all of your students, like regardless of what background, color, type, body, whatever. Like, girl, you're a queen. Strut that body. You know what I mean? Just like
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that about the background because that's one of the main things that I let them know is that samba, you're never going to do, your samba is never going to be like my samba. You know, it's whatever background you already have, you know, you're going to implement your samba into that background, and that's going to be your style.
Interesting.
Yes.
So samba is kind of like an amalgamation or a combination of yourself and what the samba already has. You just gotta make it your own.
Right. Samba is freestyle. And I'm not here to put down any type of, because there's something said as a sequence, right? But to me, real samba is when that live drumming starts going.
And can go with
And
it.
that's my specialty. And then you have your solo. I mean, if you can get down with that live drumming and the solo, you can do any choreography or sequence, whatever you want to call it, you want, you know, because the main thing is for you to get down with that live drumming, you know, and that's where I get all of my samba students to get to that level of listening to the drumming, feeling that drum. I mean, it comes from down here, belly button. I mean, that thing just, and it's an explosion. And that's what we call the TNA.
And another thing that I felt really correlated with how she teaches is because I do a lot of live mariachi. So I dance to live mariachi. And so I'm already used to listening to the changes. So, you know, they might extend, you know, a certain section. And so you still don't change because even if you have a choreo, when you're dealing with live musicians and live mariachi, for example, you still have to listen for that change in order for you to change the step.
Right.
And so I like when I went to her classes, I was like, oh my God. And so I was able to kind of make kind of the same connection, which made it a little bit easier for me because I'm already used to listening the changes in the music. And so that's when I know, like, even though we have a choreo, but the band decided to do extra 5 drums before that, you know, and so we still maintain. And so, you know, like it made it easier, but that's actually a good thing that you said that because it does really, it helps you to in order, like, even if you have a choreo, you can have a choreo,
You can, yeah.
but also dance to a live drum and still be on point, you know what I mean, and not miss.
Because that's when you can really do the samba. It's when you can do that solo. It's when you can, you know, fix if the drummer missed the beat. You know, you make that missed beat look beautiful. It was
Make
meant
it
to
look
be a
beautiful.
break.
Yeah. It's
It was meant to be a break, you know, and vice versa. And that's why, you know, there's that connection with the samba queens and the drummers. You know, it's a
Right.
beautiful moment. It's a beautiful thing. So when you actually have ladies, because I used to be on the side, I've been volunteering since I was, you know, pregnant with my daughter. Since she's now 26, so you can have an idea of how long I've been volunteering. And I used to be part of SACA, Sexual Assault Crisis Agency, and you have the understanding of what, you know, when you're holding the hand of a person who's just being, you know, abused and violated, and you have some of these women come to you and say that through your samba class, you've become a woman again. You know, because I do volunteer my summer class to some of these sites. So it's, you know, it's a level of confidence, it's a level of self-esteem, it's a level of you believing that you can do something. It's a freedom of style.
So anybody can start. Like, I don't have to know how to dance any dance, but I make some of my own. You can come and do a samba
Yes.
class and just. Everybody starts at zero. I gotta say, everybody starts at zero when you're starting something new. Like, even if you are dancing backwards or with one foot, or even if you look like a chicken. Not that I'm gonna do that, but when I'm, you know, you can start samba at any level.
Exactly.
With any level of dance experience and still
Exactly.
learn it, because a lot of it is coming from you and what the music gives you. So you're combining that.
Right.
Right.
And the drumming is very special. You know, it's a very special moment. It's almost like a ceremonial, you know, moment. It's like to connect to that beat.
I
But that
love the
beat
drumming.
sounds like a lot of other beats. And when you mix it and you make that your style, you know, and you own it, You know what I mean? No.
There's nothing like owning it.
Yeah.
And just like, and even though it was very jarring when I first started to have to do solos, and I was just like, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah. And don't let anybody tell you, you're too short, you're too tall, you're this color or that color, you're too skinny, you're too fat, you're too this, you're too that. There's none of that when it's a community samba and you're parading in that samba drum. In America, I must say, it has, especially because I've lived in California since, 93 through, I've only moved to Florida 3 years ago. And I'm here to tell you, there's a lot of samba groups, especially in California, in Florida as well. And I understand it's not a matter of saying you're better, you're worse, or you can or you cannot. But there's a lot of samba groups because of the type of customers that they have, right? That will be more selective with what type of dancers you want, what type of look you want for your group and whatnot. We're talking here about the Carnaval in Brazil. We're talking about parades. We're talking about samba communities.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we're not talking about a stage samba show in Hollywood. Where they're looking for a certain type of what they think it's perfection for a body to be a samba dancer. Don't ever let that stop you from doing samba, from dancing samba, for being part of Carnaval, for being part of a parade, for being a samba queen, for being a
Yeah.
samba dancer.
We're all samba queens. I could
Yes.
even be a samba queen. I want to put my
Yes, you
feathers on.
can. Yes,
I mean,
you can.
who is here to tell you you cannot be a samba queen?
Exactly.
And remember, it comes from your belly button. Get the TNA going. Let's go to Carnival next
TNA.
year.
Boom. Let's
Here it
go.
comes 2025.
So there was another thing that you mentioned in terms of like you reach out to the community, and you made mention to me about the Riobela Community Center or
Right, Riobela Cultural and Empowerment Center. Yeah.
Culture and Empowerment Center. Sorry. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh my goodness, that's a long, long coming dream that has come true. It's pretty much a summary of everything I've done to this date in one place. So the Riobela Cultural Center is like 4 different divisions. So you have job readiness, which is my employment agency pretty much, which I've been doing since 2007. Every person who comes through my agency, I review their resume. I pretty much change a lot of things on their resumes, and I teach them how to interview, how to do that body language, how to sit, how to prepare, how to understand what company culture is, because a lot of people don't know. And then 6 months later, you get a job because of a paycheck, and then 6 months later, you were unhappy with your job because you don't understand that you should have looked at the culture of that company to see if it's something you're looking for or not,
If it's a good fit.
if it's a good fit. So a lot of them, for the first time, they hear, "Oh, what do you mean company culture?" I'm like, yeah. So there's this whole, I spend an hour, 2 hours sometimes with them, training them on all of that, preparing them for that interview. Little thing, ask for the job before you leave. What do you mean ask for the job? But little things like, thank you for having me. Thank you for taking the time for this interview. I'm very interested in the position. Do you have any questions? You always have a question. Even if you don't have a question, you say, I don't have any questions at this time, but if I think of anything, can I give you a call? Can I contact you? And, it's, I got to be a little quick about it. But, this training I've been doing since 2007, with employees. I train them on Word, Microsoft Office if they have to.
Wow.
Little tests and whatnot, just to prepare them to, I hire a lot from Cal Jobs, which are the unemployed community. And Cal Jobs provides, in case you don't know, a lot of courses that you can get yourself up to date with what's going on in the tech world.
The tech world.
They actually make you take some courses now in order to stay on unemployment, which is very good. Forces people to get up to date on things like that. So that's the job readiness division, in which I also have. Like we're going to do, especially because Florida is the capital of the retirement, world. So we're going to do a CNA school for people to get certified. It's a certified nursing assistant or, the caretakers.
Oh,
So we're going to
that's what
have a
CNA
school in
is.
that as well. So within 6 months, you can take care of elderly patients. And it's basically the slogan for the cultural center is whatever's going on in your life right now that's keeping you from becoming the citizen you want to become. Here are the skills. Let's just get it done. Turn this around. You can do this.
Okay.
That's summarizing. That's what it is. So then these are some of the skills, teaching you how to interview, getting your resume ready, teaching you the skills you need to be up to date nowadays, tech world, CNA course, within 6 months, imagine, right? So, because we want to be able to provide these services to them for free. So within 6 months, you can, of course, they go through the life wellness division first, which is pretty much doing an interview, figuring out, if you really want to do this, if you're really ready to receive all this, right? Turn your life around. If you need any type of additional, psychological support, because that's not who we are. We're just the first stop. If you need any additional treatment or support, we will refer you, to the specialists. We're not trying to, there's no psychiatrists in our division. There's life coaches, there's support
So
systems.
this kind of work. How did you like? What drew you to doing all this? Like, is there some moment or like at what point do you say? Because you're giving Samba to the world, right? And you're doing these other things that help people in the community, all kinds of communities. And that's a lot of love you're giving out. So what like with your dance and with what you're doing on the side, what is like really motivating you there? What is there something that really
I guess when I really look back, I really think of state of mind, being 12, 13, 14 years old in Brazil and having the idea even at that age to say, okay, I need to keep my scholarship for English. My parents can afford to pay for this. So I'm going to swim twice a day because that will keep me in the, competitive team because that's where I want to be, right? So I don't care if my hair looks funny, if I'm tired or whatever. I need English to. So from there, I used to talk to my friends in Brazil, and then, some of them, again, nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying the experience that, I had for myself. So my friends would say, I want to marry my boyfriend, and I'm going to have 2 or 3 kids with him. We're going to get married and have 2 or 3 kids. And that's the life that she has now. She's very happy and successful as a housewife and a mom, in Brazil. And I used to tell her back then, I want to learn English and I'm going to have a corner office like, what's that movie with, in the 80s that they had with, what's her name? I forget. Working Girl. I'm going to have a corner office wearing my suit and speaking English with high heels,
That's right. Why not?
And that's what I did.
Why not?
So we each did what we asked for in our teenage years. I learned English. I had the corporate office career, right? And I had my high heels and my suit, the exact same thing. But then you grow from there. So you understand that part of the mind. And of course, my wonderful life coach, I love him forever. I don't know if I should say his name here or not, but Tony Robbins. I've been following him and training with him since the 80s. And, that part of my, and his training actually changed, evolved throughout the years because he used to be very career-oriented, but now it's very spiritual. So when you get to the point, that you live from growth and contribution, which is basically everything happens to you in life, it's a growth experience, good, bad, and ugly, right? And we were actually here in the world to give, right? That's when we are, as humans, the happiest. It's when we help somebody else. So growth and contribution. It's called 6 Human Needs. You can do a whole podcast on that one day. Because I used to live out of significance and control, before.
Oh,
And
I
then when you
see what
adjust
you
your human
mean.
needs, because
Yes.
human needs are human needs. It's just like they're
Dude.
just positioned differently.
You know what? And now that you mentioned that, because in my earlier years, like, I mean, during my 20s and like early 30s, I actually kind of lived like that. And then as I got older, and I think, well, because, well, I had my kid really young. And so I feel like I needed to have that like drive, just more like business and gotta get these things done, where now I actually have more of the option of, like you were saying, that he turned more like spiritual into more like giving back, and but
Right.
now I have the capability of doing that, but I didn't when I was a single mom
Right.
taking
It's
care
a
of a
certain
kid.
time in your life that you realize that, okay, this can help somebody else. And, and it started when my daughter, again, when I became a mom, right? And you step away from self, right? And somebody else now matters a lot
Remember,
more,
yeah,
matters more than
exactly.
you do at every moment level. Like, and I was a single mom. I had, I left my partner at the time. I was 9 months pregnant. And I, had my daughter, it was my daughter and I for many years after that. And having a daughter, my whole family was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I know what I'm doing. Like, you'll figure out later." 20 years later, they figured out why. But that's, aside the point. But, 9 months pregnant, I was on my own in America, in Long Beach, and figuring it out. And even during that time, because I was on a waiting list to become a PA at USC, you had to do some volunteer. That's what got the whole thing started. You had to do some volunteer hours to go through their PA program, college program, and
Okay.
that's physician's assistant. And I chose SACA, Sexual Assault Crisis Agency, and I did that all the way through 9 months pregnant. And I stopped because I couldn't meet the, violated, the people in the hospital with the big belly. I'm like, okay, I have to stop at some point, 9 months pregnant, but that's all you do. But, but what's interesting with these nonprofits is that they will teach you for 6 to 8 weeks the program that they're running. So through SACA, I had to understand the different types of abuse. How many people get raped every minute? So they educate you to be able to be a volunteer, and that creates an interest, and an awareness, if I should say,
Yeah.
of what's going on. And, and I did that, and I became, answering the hotline at home, and every person who got violated, raped, I would meet them at the hospital and just hold their hand. That's it. You don't do anything else. You just hold their hand while they go through the process of reporting what happened to them, And so that was the first one. So then after that, I got more involved, and I did Stand Up for Kids, and that's in Orange County. So you go through that 6-week program again, and that's when I learned the difference in being homeless and street kids. Homeless is when you don't have an address. So there's a lot of people who are homeless with no home, but they're crashing at a brother's couch, right? But they're homeless. But they don't report themselves as homeless. So it kind of like hurts the system as far as financial assistance to some, because they don't have those reports, those accurate reports.
Oh, correct.
So when you don't have a place to live, you're homeless, but, so then you do the outreach, which is taking care of these kids, adolescents in the streets. And because they turn 18 and the system drops them. So now, really, I have a 26-year-old daughter and I have a 17-year-old son. 18, are you really an adult?
No.
For the system to completely, okay, you're an adult.
Okay, bye.
We're done with you. Figure
Here's
it
some
out.
bus tokens and see you later. Never.
No, but it's true. It's kind of a failing of the system in a way.
That's what it used to be, emancipation. When I got emancipated from the foster care system, literally they gave me like a bag of bus tokens, and then we're like, okay, bye. Like,
Yeah.
that was it. And I was like, okay, well, I
then,
got bus tokens. Okay.
What?
Yeah, right. I got a bag of bus tokens, maybe like 10. So that was my parting gift from the foster care system. That was in the 90s, though, And so I was just like,
Hopefully things have changed since then.
I mean, like we had that conversation with Heather and how she, the last time we recorded, she mentioned something about doing she did those movies you guys do. What are they called?
Documentary.
Those things. Documentaries.
That was cute.
Those things. But, so I'm hoping that, she had a lot more updated information about how the system is now. But literally when I emancipated, which was back in 99, yeah, it was that's basically what I got. I got a bag of bus tokens.
Wow.
As my...
So then you would, so how did that really help you? I mean, emotionally, right?
Not at all.
So,
I mean, I got some tokens. I mean, like...
Bus tokens. All right, you can get
it helps
around.
you to get from point A to point B. I
Yeah,
guess.
but where am I going?
No,
But where are you going?
The bus tokens were like, okay, you can leave this place now. Get out.
Right, I guess it's just to get you out. But
Just for you to leave.
yeah, but that's what Stand Up for Kids does. So back then we had a location. It's just a day location. You can't sleep there. So you have a location where they come over and you can spend the day. There's a meal. There's some clean clothes for you if you want to get it. If you need to change clothes. Some of the not that particular one. We're right there by Venice Beach, right at that main entrance there, where the popular area there. There's so much money all around there. It's incredible how and so there is a lot of
when there's so much opulence surrounding. It's
incredible.
It's a little toasty in here, right? So should I put the air on for a little bit?
Yeah, should we pause?
You want?
For a
Yeah,
minute?
should we
Let's
pause?
pause.
All right, everybody. That's part 1 of 2 for this episode. Join us next week for part 2 at 2. We'll see you then.
To follow us, you can go to whathahappened.com for a link to all of our social media and to read our bios.
If you would like us to read your story,
May it be funny or scary or just some hot cheese, man.
please email us at stories@whathappened.com.